Hello and welcome to B Shifter. John Vance, Josh Blum, and Grant Light here today. We are listening to audio from the Las Vegas Fire Rescue Department, and they are a Blue Card user. They are all in on the Blue Card system, and we get some great audio out of them. Today, we're going to take you to a vacant building fire. This had been a building that had been a nuisance to the city. They'd ran on it on several times with working fires, but this time around, they had some people still inside that they had to deal with. Josh, what do you know about this?
Like you said, John, they ran on this building a bunch of times in that area. It was a homeless camp. It had been boarded up, but the homeless kept getting into there. The fire department knew they were getting into there. Many fires in the building. The fire department had, the first due companies had some information about, holes in the floor and some other challenges with the building. So as we listen to this, you'll hear some of those things come across, in the communications too, of the critical factors that they knew, really almost like a pre-plan. And then they knew that it was a homeless camp. So there is life safety risk there. So as we listen to this, we'll just kind of break it down and talk about the incident.
Zone 1, TAC 5, Zone 1, TAC 5 for Battalion 1, Battalion 2, Engine 4, Engine 10, Engine 201, Engine 1, Engine 5, Engine 3, Rescue 8, Truck 1, Rescue 204, Truck 8, Rescue 10, EMS 1, and Air Resource 1, H-level building fire on 3rd and Charleston. PR reporting, a vacant building that's on fire. They see black smoke coming out of the windows and eaves. Again, responding units on Zone 1, TAC 5. Zone 1, TAC 5.
All incoming units from Battalion 1, be advised there are holes in the floor on the second floor of this structure on the southeast corner, second floor, I believe. So use caution if you're on the second floor. Dispatch, Battalion 1.
Battalion 1.
Dispatch, Battalion 1. Correct address is going to be 300 East Charleston. This will be an offensive strategy. Command is going to be located on the Charlie side of the structure. Do you have smoke and flame showing from medium-sized two-story abandoned commercial building? Offensive strategy, again, command located southeast corner of the structure.
Dispatch copy, Battalion 1, Charleston Command, offensive strategy.
Command, Engine 4, Engine 4, go ahead and pull lines for fire control to the second floor. Looks like you'll be operating in that west side of the structure, second floor.
Engine 4, copy. Steve, we're going to do a transitional attack. The second floor has open holes. Let's knock it down before we commit any crew to that second floor right now.
I agree, Engine 4. Try and use big water to get it knocked down from the exterior, south side.
Command, Engine 10's arrived from the west. We're blocking the boulevard due to traffic.
Engine 10, why don't you connect to that hydrant on the west side of the building. Give me a report on conditions if you guys got fire from any openings on that west side.
Copy, we'll gather our own water supply on the west side and give you a report, west side conditions.
Rescue 10's on scene behind Engine 10.
Engine 201's on scene on the east side of the building.
Command, Engine 1, level 1.
Rescue 10, command, I want you to pair up with Engine 10 and assist Engine 10 with fire attack on the west side of the structure. Copy.
Rescue 10 copies, pairing up with Engine 10.
Command from Engine 4 with a follow-up.
Go ahead, Engine 4.
We're able to get eyes on two sides, which will be the Charlie and Delta side. We do have a confirmed fire. Looks like to be on the second floor, right in the L shape in the corner on the second floor. The only entrance is over here to the east, and it's a long, narrow hallway to get to where this fire is. We're going to continue with the transitional attack due to safety concerns.
I copy that, Engine 4. You're saying that the entrance is on the east, so it's on the southeast side where you're located, correct? The entrance to that compartment?
That's affirmative. The entrance is to the second floor is up those stairs, but it's a long, narrow hallway to get to where this fire is. I can use another crew to do a primary search of this first floor. There's known homeless that camp out in there.
Command, copy. Engine 1, command.
Engine 1 by.
Engine 1, command. Once you come around to the Charlie side, assist Engine 4. Complete a primary search on the first floor Charlie side. Accessible compartments.
Copy, primary search, first floor, Charlie side. Command, truck 1, level 1.
Truck 1, command. Go ahead and give us a roof report. Position to best advantage. Looks like it's probably going to be the northwest corner out of the smoke there.
Truck 1, copy. Position best advantage, roof.
Command, Engine 5, level 1 stage. Engine 5, come up. You're going to be on deck. Engine 5, copy, on deck.
So what we've listened to so far, Battalion 1 got there first, which is not uncommon. So the chief gets there, gave a size up, but before they gave their size up, you could hear they were still en route, and that battalion had known information about holes in the floor and described, hey, we got holes in the floor on the second floor, kind of said what corner of the building it is, just as a pre-alert kind of. So everybody responding in knows, though everybody who's on the first alarm had probably been to fires in that building before. But then went on, gave a size up, painted a pretty good picture of what was going on, and then the first engine got there and got their assignment from the strategic IC. So it wasn't like the first engine pulled up and just did whatever they wanted. The strategic IC was there in place, had done a size up, and then they were going to give out assignments, which just keeps it, really clean because, in their system, the battalion does have a driver. So as far as communicating and tracking and accountability, it's going to be real clear and defined. And the incident commander still needs to communicate what the assignments are so that everybody's playing on the same field, right? So everybody understands the incident action plan. So Engine 4 got an assignment. It's their first due. So they had a good idea of what was going on, how do you access the building, and came back at one point, the captain of Engine 4, and said, a follow-up report to command, and gave out some really good information on where's the fire, how they're going to access the fire, some needs of what they needed at that particular point, described the L-shaped building, described that there were some stairs and goes into a center hallway, but it's going to be a long stretch to get to where the fire is. And then, shortly after that, Engine 10 pulls up. Engine 10 got an assignment, bring a water supply and do what they were going to do. Rescue 10, which is an ambulance out of that station, pulls up and gets assigned just to work with Engine 10 so that they have, one crew, and in their system that they all just become one, right? So that, it goes from a 4-person crew to maybe the 6-person crew or 5-person crew, depending on, what the driver's doing. Really, all the rest of the assignments we'd heard up to this point were working through to solve, the fire problem, and then the information comes from Engine 4 that we probably need to get a search of the first floor because it's a known homeless encampment, and there was reports of people still inside the building. So we heard them say, holes on the second floor, and in this case, it was a concrete slab building on the first floor. So, there was not really a risk of holes, and they'd been inside that building before. And we are going to take risk, right, when we have belief that there's people inside the building. So in this case, they were working to put the fire out. They were getting eyes on the roof from a ladder company. They got another company to come up to support Engine 4 to try to start to get a search. And really, they at that point had addressed all of the objectives, or the initial objectives and the initial critical fireground factors. So to get that next company moving forward, he puts Engine 5 on deck to really reinforce and support those other companies so that they could get an assignment. But, first and foremost in our system, on deck is the rapid intervention team. So they were right there in place because there were crews operating inside the building in IDLH.
The captain of Engine 4, it was obvious that it was his first in company's area, because the chief gave him an assignment and he kind of corrected him and said, hey, we know there's a lot of floors and holes in this part of the floor area. How about if we hit it from the outside with some big water and then transition in? And so I think that the chief agreed. So it was good the chief took his advice, because, he's taking the advice of a first in company officer that makes this building a lot, and said, yeah, that's a good idea. So I thought that was pretty heads up to kind of give a suggestion that we may want to hit this from the outside with some big water before we transition and go inside.
And I'm sure you get this, Josh, especially when we're into newer departments. People really get wrapped up around the axle on the chief arriving first. And it's really a functionality thing. I mean, we don't have to do special sims as long as people are following the strategic decision-making model like they did here. The chief, even though that's his function, he knows what the first arriving companies are going to do. Why is it that occasionally we get these folks who are really concerned about, our simulations typically don't have the chief arriving first, but you hear a good blue card department like this where it happens flawlessly and they're used to doing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, that's one of the reasons why, whether you're in a position when you're getting certified where you never ride in a fire truck, or if you're in a position where you or the company officer, you always ride in a fire truck, when you're blue card certified, you ride or you're evaluated and you go through the positions as that mobile IC pulling up in the fire apparatus, doing a size up, follow a report, assigning a couple of companies before the strategic IC gets there. And on the flip side of that, the chiefs and captains or whoever's riding in the cars, sit in the strategic evaluation position, but they're also sitting in, you're back on the apparatus and making decisions. So, they're going through and doing size ups and giving follow-up reports and doing all those other pieces. It shouldn't be a surprise. I know in a lot of big systems, oftentimes you get 2 or 3 companies there before the chief gets there, but I don't know how valid that is either, because we've had a ton of audio from 3 county departments, the city of Las Vegas, and many others that, where the chief did arrive first. So regardless, I mean, if you're using the system, it doesn't matter when the chief arrives, because if they arrive first, they're going to give their, size up. They're just not going to give out really an incident action plan at that point. They're going to plug in the incident action plan by giving assignments to the companies as they go level 1. And, in this case, we get it sometimes. Oh, you're slowing companies down because they're level 1. And I can assure you Engine 4's wheels and Engine 10's wheels and Rescue 10's wheels and probably up to Engine 5's wheels probably never stopped turning. They were at their last tactical location where they could pick up a water supply or come in another way. They said level 1 and they got an assignment. So, it's not really slowing down anything. Level 1's really, hey, I'm ready for you to give me an assignment, and I can do anything from bring a water supply to come in, a different street, a different angle, a different, approach. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just a training thing, right, that you can go through. And, some places, well, we don't want our chief, taking command. We want those companies doing, the size up and everything, and then we're still going to transfer command. And if you're doing that and the chief's already there, then you're just wasting time. Then you're going to have a command transfer. So you want to talk about tying up radio traffic when you could totally alleviate that radio traffic. This is, I think, just another example of if you're using the system and you understand the 8 functions of command and the whole process, it doesn't matter one way or another.
Command EOS was rush station. Engine 201, command. Engine 201 back. Engine 201, I want you to position on the alpha side where those glass doors are and make entry to the alpha side. Probably going to have you go to the 2nd floor, get a primary of the uninvolved areas. Just advise I want you to have a hose line to that entry vestibule there. Advise once you're in position, and then we'll make a decision on where you guys are going to go from there.
Command from Engine 10 with status change.
Go ahead, Engine 10.
Command, we are connecting our hydrant right now. I can use an additional unit. Engine 5 is right next to us. I have fire showing from small windows on this west corner. We're also gaining forcible entry to the first floor to make sure we don't have any fire on the first floor.
Okay, copy, Engine 10. I'll assign Engine 5 to you.
I'll need an additional unit when you have one available.
Copy. We're going to be thin for a little bit, so just work with what you've got. You've got Engine 10 yourself, Rescue 10, and Engine 5.
Command Truck 8, level 1.
Truck 8, come up on deck, please.
Okay, 2's on scene. Truck 8 copies on deck. Is that Alpha side, Chief?
Truck 8, come up on deck on the Charlie side. The Alpha, all units from command, the Alpha side of the structure is going to be the Charleston side. The Charlie side is the south side of the structure. Alpha side's Charleston. Charlie side is the south side. Battalion 2, command.
Hello, command.
Battalion 2, command. Can you turn out and head to the Charlie side of the structure? It might make you Charlie division. We're going to see where we get in a sec, but I want you turned out in position to take a division if necessary.
Copy that. Turn out Charlie side. That's going to be the north side of the structure.
No, Charlie side is the south side. So where engine 4 is, that's the Charlie side.
Copy south side, Charlie division.
Dispatch Charleston Command, can you respond Metro for traffic control on Casino Center and Charleston, please?
Copy that, sir. Metro traffic control. How many units?
2 units, please.
Command from engine 01.
Dispatch copy Charleston Command. Last unit, go for command.
Command from engine 201. There's no real good access on the Alpha side. The only access is where engine 10 is on this Alpha Delta corner.
I copy that. Give me a minute. Go ahead and pull back. I'll show you guys on deck. Give me a minute to figure out where best to put you.
Command Truck 1 with a roof report.
Go ahead, Truck 1.
Command Truck 1, we've got normal load up top. Walls seem to be intact. Got some pretty heavy snagging and vents through the south side of the roof. Pressurized smoke coming out of the eaves. North side or Charleston side looks a little bit more stable. We could get top side and get sounding if we get the go ahead.
Until we get crews in there with water on the fire, I don't want to have you guys vertically ventilate yet. So why don't we just keep you guys in position? And if it gets away from us, we'll have you positioned to set up a master stream. Keep an eye on the sagging conditions so that we can report them to interior crews as necessary. You copy that?
Truck 1 copies.
As we continue to listen to this, there's a lot going on, and they got the fire kind of isolated in a certain portion of the building. So we heard some assignments come out from command assigning companies to search, parts of the building that were isolated from where the fire is. Command ends up using engine 5 to deploy with another company to assist with fire control. And then another company arrives, goes level 1, and he makes them on deck. So they're using on deck, which first and foremost is RIT, but they're using them in place to make sure that they have a bench deep enough, if you will, 2 deep deployment in that specific area to keep pace with the event. And then they still had, a single company assigned as RIT that's what their whole assignment was going to be, just to stand by where the most work was happening. So really they reinforced, I guess you could say, in a way, the whole on deck thing. And in this case, they're operating in a building that they know's got holes in it. They are taking some risk to make sure that people are out of the building. So it definitely doesn't hurt anything, to do that, especially when you're as deep as they are in resource where we are now. We still aren't through all of their resource. There's still companies that are, responding to the incident. So the strategic IC was probably on the threshold of being beyond the span of control. So we heard him make engine 10. You're going to take that west side, but they were operating outside the building. So they were setting up. You could hear, he was kind of forecasting in his mind. You could hear a few things that's like, oh, as soon as we got an all clear of this, we're going defensive. And in the end of this, we do hear that they don't believe anybody's in here and that they end up going defensive. And the people who were in there self-evacuated, basically. Hey, oh shit, the building's on fire. I need to leave. So, they put somebody there to start to build and organize on the outside of the building what that attack position was going to look like. And then the 2nd Battalion arrived. So when the 2nd Battalion arrived, very clear on go ahead and get turned out. I'm going to put you on the Charlie side to try to figure out what's going on, which was on the opposite side of where command was. And they had companies operating on that other side of the building where engine 4, the first Duke company, actually pulled up, which is closest to the fire, which would make sense to put a tactical boss there. And I believe there was 3 or 4 companies operating there. So in our system, when we get 3 or more companies operating in any geographic area, we put and reinforce command by putting that, tactical boss in place to, take care of accountability. And as we always say, kind of feel it, taste it, touch it, not literally, but they're just a little bit closer to it. And in this case, high risk incident, you're risking quite a bit, again, because of the known life hazard. And they wanted to get all clears as quickly as they could and knew that they were going to be transitioning, and going defensive. And they were really setting up for that, which you can hear the IC, when 201 comes on and says no real great access on the Alpha side. He just says, hey, go ahead and pull back, go on deck, and I'm going to rethink this and get a better plan together of how we're going to attack the fire. So that's where we're at to this point.
One of the things the IC needed to tie up, there was a little bit of a loose end on the geographic location of everything. There was confusion what is Charlie, what is West. And he did a good job at backtracking because no one called out initially, accountability location is going to be engine 4 on the Alpha side or wherever they were. But he finally said, designated what the Alpha side and the Charlie side was. So, a good lesson for ICs is you're going down that road, and if things aren't going right, you have the option to say that, I'm going to designate it right now. Alpha side's Charleston, and then the West side's going to be Charlie. So everybody gets a good idea now where Alpha and Charlie is.
Yeah, I think he pulled that together pretty well. And he said it a couple of times because it was obvious people were getting confused as to what was where. Because you had people on the West side, you had Engine 4 on a different side. You had a lot of companies working on different areas of the building, and trying to keep that coordinated is really important.
Command, Rescue 4 is on scene stage.
Rescue 4, I'm going to make you fire medical.
Rescue 4 coming.
Engine 4, command.
Engine 4, bye.
Engine 4, command, can you get a can report?
Engine 4, Rescue 204, we're on the Charlie side, in front of Engine 4, doing a transitional attack to the second floor. We're throwing a ladder to knock out some wood to get some better water in there. We are having an effect. I've heard the other reports. Let us knock this wood out, do a little more transitional water, and then I think we can make a push to the second floor from this Charlie side.
Command, copy Engine 4. And you've got Rescue 204 assisting with you on Charlie side.
That's affirmative. You have Engine 1 who's getting a primary of the first floor.
Copy. I'm going to assign Battalion 2 to supervise the Charlie side, so you'll be reporting to Battalion 2 from here on. Battalion 2, command.
Battalion 2, copy that traffic. Can you repeat the units currently assigned to Charlie Division? I believe it's Engine 4, Engine 1, and who else?
It's going to be, like you said, Engine 4, Engine 1, and Rescue 204 is assisting Engine 4. So you're going to have Engine 4, Engine 1, and Rescue 204. When you confirm with Engine 4 that we're good to transition interior, let me know. As for now, we'll continue with transitional water exterior offensive.
Command, Engine 4, priority traffic.
Go ahead, Engine 4.
Engine 1 sent 2 victims to the outside. They're on the Charlie side. I need EMS to meet them.
Command, copy. Rescue 4, can you come around to the Charlie side? We've got 2 victims on the Charlie side.
EMS 1 copies that traffic as well.
Dispatch, can you respond? 1 additional city rescue and 1 AMR unit, please.
Dispatch copy. 1 city, 1 AMR. Command from West Division.
Go ahead.
Command, can I get Engine 201 from on deck so they can assist with a primary of the first floor on the west side?
I copy Engine 10. You're requesting that Engine 201 be assigned to your division. Is that correct?
That's affirmative.
Copy. Engine 201, you copy that. Can you report to West Division, Engine 10?
Engine 201 copies West Division with Engine 10.
EMS 1, command.
EMS 1 by.
We've got 2 additional transport units en route. Let me know if you have any additional needs. Right now, I've only got Rescue 4 available for you. If you need another rescue, we can pull one of the crews that's assisting with fire attack.
Copy, command. Be advised, I'm with both patients right now. They're both stable. Have all incoming transport units respond to the Charlie side. We can have staging there and set up a drive-through. Command, truck roll on with a status change.
Go ahead, truck 1.
Command, we've got fire starting to ease its way to the center of the structure, multiple spots. We believe it's where the interior hallway and the bathroom is. We've got active flames, multiple spots, center of the structure starting to push through.
Command, copy. I see the fire coming through the roof, more toward the east side of the structure. We'll work on getting you guys a water supply so you can attack it with your aerial. Dispatch, Charleston Command.
Charleston Command.
Dispatch, Charleston Command. Go ahead and strike a second alarm. Put the units intact channel in the notes. I'll get them running ready.
Copy, sir. Second alarm.
Truck 8.
Go ahead, truck 8.
I've got my engineer positioner apparatus on what's going to end up being the Bravo Charlie corner. We may be able to set up, and when this comes through, maybe able to hit that from our vantage.
I copy that. Good idea. Thank you. Charlie Division Command.
Command, what's that traffic for Charlie Division?
That's affirmative, Charlie Division. We've got flames through the roof about halfway down the long side of the structure. We're going to continue to operate offensively on the exterior of the structure. I'm going to have Truck 8 set up for master stream operations since we probably don't want to put crews inside on the second floor right now.
Copy that. Information only. We do have a primary search all clear on Division 1. We're being told by Engine 4 those holes in the middle of the roof are existing holes. It's just now got fire showing. So if you want us to try to make a push down that hallway real quick, we can, or we'll just wait for the truck to go into operation.
Based on the holes in the floor and the visibility conditions, let's get some water on it before we send anybody in. Break, West Division Command.
Go ahead, West Division.
West Division Command, can you have one of your engineers pump Truck 1 so that we can get water on the fire on the roof?
Command from West Division, we've already accomplished that. Truck 1 has water supply.
Copy. Charlie Division, we're going to have Truck 1 flow water. Just be advised, I don't think they'll hit you with their stream, but they are going to be operating a master stream toward the west side of the structure.
Truck 1, stand by. I've got a crew inside getting me a primary. Stand by before we do master stream on the west side. Charleston Command, fire dispatch.
Go ahead, dispatch.
Sir, second alarm units when you're ready.
I see him on the MCT. I'll have my aide track those units.
Copy that, sir, and I put aside Zone 1, TAC 8 for those second alarm units.
Command, Rescue 301, level 1. Rescue 301, Command, I want you to report to EMS 1. They're on the Charlie side of the structure. Assist with fire medical. Copy, fire medical with EMS 1. Last unit, repeat. 301 copies.
Truck 1 from West Division, you ready for water now? I have all crews outside of the West Division. Truck 1's ready. Send it.
Charlie Division, Command.
Go ahead, Command. We caught Truck 1 soon start flowing. Just be aware we do still have crews over here on the ground, Charlie side.
Copy. We've got fire through the roof, pretty heavy on the second floor now. We're going to go ahead and change to a defensive strategy, so I make sure all your crews are exterior on only... They can operate in the collapse zone, but I don't want any crews interior now.
We copy that. All crews are far exterior of the building. We're just taking second floor windows and running in a defensive posture.
Emergency traffic. All units from command, we're going to switch to a defensive strategy. All units from command, we're going to switch to a defensive strategy. Dispatch, sound the emergency alert tones, please. Dispatch and all units from command, we're going to be operating in a defensive strategy. West Division, can you confirm all your crews are outside the IDLH, please?
As we continued to listen to this, they had a pretty good idea that there were people inside the building, and then we end up hearing, the report come from Engine 4 with priority traffic, 2 patients on the outside, that they needed EMS. In their system, they have an EMS supervisor, so the EMS supervisor was coordinating that and getting the ambulances, making sure that that whole piece was taken care of, which is really it's support for the IC, so the IC doesn't have to, worry about that as much. He's got somebody taking care of managing that. And as we heard from the very beginning, I think everybody who was going to this incident knew where it was going to end up defensive. And I think that's why we heard some of the things that we heard, right? So Engine 10, can you prepare to supply this trucks for a water supply? And it was already taken care of because everybody that was there knew where it was going. But like we've seen so many times, in Cobb County, we got an incident, right, where command was ready to make a strategic shift and the tactical boss was like, hey, hold on for a second. I think we can get it. And so until they got an all clear of the building, or at least survivable, searchable space, they stayed offensive. So throughout this, they had companies putting water on the fire from the most advantageous place that they could without being at risk, while companies were still trying to get a search of the building. And then when, the 2 people were out and they had a pretty good confirmation that nobody else was in the building, they transitioned to, more exterior water. We heard at the end there, Truck 1, just hold off on your water for a second. I got a company that's completing a search on the first floor. So, that was just good communications. And then eventually they just transitioned this thing to 100% defensive because it was worth absolutely nothing to risk anybody's life to go inside of it, because everybody was pretty much so out and accounted for. They'd gotten all clears of the spaces. So command communicated with Charlie what was going on. That truck report of the roof report of, 1 + 1 = 2, right? Everybody knew where it was going, but truck 1 gives a pretty good report. The roof's sagging. There's holes in the roof, got fire through the roof. This is where we believe it's coming from. Engine 4 had talked to Charlie at some point there and had reported to Charlie, hey, the fire's coming through where we had cut holes in this roof before. So that was really good. When it comes to coordination, nobody was just doing what they wanted to do. Everybody was under the same incident action plan. I think Truck One at one point said, "You want us to go on the other side and try to open it up there?" And command told them, "Nope, I don't want. We're no vertical ventilation until we get water on the fire." So they were coordinating, all their efforts. And everybody's operating on the same page. Everybody understood what the strategy is. And what we know today is the city there worked with the Fire Prevention Bureau, and that building today is just a dirt lot because they got rid of the risk. So the fire department was going to that building quite a bit. There was a big risk involved with it. They were going to go inside, which we're going to go inside when we have victims like that. And the best thing the city could do is get rid of the risk. So the city worked with the Fire Prevention Bureau, and now it's that vacant building is just a vacant lot. Yeah, I think it's a win for everybody, really. The fire department did a good job, and in the end, they were able to, I think, justify, hey, we've been here all these times, and we keep taking this risk, and we don't think we can keep taking the risk, really, because the buildings looks like Swiss cheese. You're going to eventually fall in a hole.
The building's deteriorating over time. Every run they make, every fire they make is deteriorating, and I think it's a pretty smart move. The city probably realized that it's a lot safer if it just isn't there anymore. For the firemen, for the homeless people, for everybody, right? I think it was really good heads up because they got earlier on, they got an all clear in one area of the building, and then they came back and they got the two people out of the other area of the building, and they kept, they understood this was a large building. Just because there's all clear in one end, it doesn't mean it's an all clear through the whole building. So it seemed like they really did a good job. Kind of the firemen did a good job of understanding the building and understanding where they were in relation to the other area that got the all clear and kept looking and got those people out, or assisted them coming out. I thought that was really good. The other thing was, firemen, like you said, are firemen. They see what's coming. The chief called and said, "Hey, be prepared to give water to the ladder truck." And they said, "That's already done." I mean, they saw what was coming, and they don't have to be told to do every little thing, right? You're still a thinking fireman, and you're like, okay, I can see what's coming here. Let's just get a water supply to them. So when we make that decision's made, it's going to happen a whole lot faster. A lot of people are like, "Oh, blue card, everything's Mother May I," and those guys looked ahead, forecasted what was going to be happening, and they moved the line over there. And when the chief called for it, it's already done, chief. I mean, that's the way we should operate. We can see what's going on. We're smart people.
Well, this fire obviously was going to need a lot of resources. They called a second alarm, and that was set up on another tactical channel. And dispatch was trying to give a rundown on the units coming, and the IC didn't feel that was necessary because he had it right in front of him.
Yeah, so when the IC called for the second alarm, they said right when they requested it, just give me a second alarm assignment and send it to my MCT, and which is their mobile data terminal or their computer in their car or CAD or whatever you want to call it, and said put them on a separate TAC channel, just send it all to my computer because it's going to be right in front of them. They got an aide. The aide can just write down, here's all the units that are on the second alarm. And what channel it's on, right? Because in that case, the incident commander and the aide, they're running the fire, right? Their focus is on the people in the IDLH environment. And, dispatch, getting the second alarm transmitted and being able just to send it to the computer, well, there's your rundown right there. They didn't need to hear it over the radio of who the units were. And when dispatch did come back and even say, hey, here's the rundown of your second alarm, the incident commander just said, just send it to my data computer or my MCT and let me know what TAC channel they're on, right? So it's just another good example of all those principles that we teach in the system, right? I mean, there's probably 40 principles that come out of this audio that we just listened to, and it's why we do what we do when we're in the sim lab, so that when you're at the IDLH and the incident, you have a better chance of it sounding like this.
Thanks for listening to this B Shifter. We want to thank LVFR for the audio and another great example of how Blue Card operates in their department. If you have audio that you would like to share with us, that information is located in the show notes, so you can get it to us. Or if you're a Blue Card instructor, you can go to the Upload Center and send it to us that way. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks to Grant. Thanks for coming by. Thanks, Josh. And we'll see you next time on B Shifter.